Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Everyone, and welcome to the Accucare High School Football Preview Show, Ocean County Edition, presented by the Shore Football Report. Today, we're going to talk Brick Green Dragons with the longtime head football coach, Lenny Zdanowicz, in his 8th season. You're officially a longtime head football coach, Coach Zadanowicz. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Thanks for everything you do for the whole sport, man. We appreciate it.
We're going to talk a lot about you in a second, and of course, those Green Dragons. I want to brag about the great news of my team, the Dream Team. Accucare and Brick, right in your house. Physical therapy, sports medicine, great. She's into all the programs, and she's excited to be around all the athletes. You know as well as I do that you need your athletes healthy, right?
Number one thing, man.
Number one thing. But Brick guys do not get injured. That's
They're not allowed to.
They're not allowed. Yep. So when guys have tweak ankles or hamstrings, and let the professionals like Accucare take advantage of their facilities and their knowledge. And I'm pumped that she's with my program. Also, Scott Stump is back in town. He's got the pen and he's got the fire burning again. He called me the other day, Lenny, and let me tell you what. I mean, he wants to get it going. He wants talk shows. Let's go. Let's talk about these dudes. He wants everybody's emails.
Scott's a great guy, man. Great guy.
He wants everybody's emails. He the only thing that he's negative about was he goes, Can you make your shows a little shorter? Because I'm fast forwarding to get all the information of the games. He goes, I don't care about their resume. I know who they are. But he's watching all this stuff and he's having fun with it. And trying to he wants to make a big impression, a big splash. So
awesome. I got to have him back in the Shore.
That was a bigger mystery hire than LeBron James when he went to Miami. So
I think it was up there on the Twitter response, right? It was up there.
Yes, it was. Now, let's talk about you. Talk about years. Boy, you're loyal. A loyal Brick dude. 8 seasons as a head coach. You took them to 2 finals. You won a championship. You're playing in tough divisions and tough competition. You've been an assistant coach for 16 years in Brick. And we were joking around. I said you were an assistant for 16. You were a head coach for 8. And when you were a student in high school, you were there another 10 years, weren't you? Right? But I'm kidding. But you've been there.
I've been there last year. I was a student. I moved here when I was in 2nd grade, man. So I guess I was exactly 10 years.
And here's what I picture. And I know you probably got athletes in the program that are just like you. When you were in elementary, in middle school, you were always looking and couldn't wait to play for Warren Wolf, the great Warren Wolf.
That's what it was growing up here, man. That's what it was.
you bleed green. You definitely bleed green. Um, 16 years as an assistant, 8 as a head coach, and you always talk so highly of the past, and you're so conscious of the alumni and the traditions. To you, traditions are sacred. They really are. Like, why is that so important to you?
Well, like the biggest thing, I mean, when most guys, you get a job as a head coach, you're trying to build on something. Having been here at Brick, having won as a player here at Brick, it's already here. It's there. I mean, you just got to go back. You walk in the weight room and you see it. You go by our trophy case, you see it. You walk in our locker room during the football season and you see it, and it's surrounded you. And it's something that we play off of. We hope the kids understand that it's a different expectation than other sports in our school, and then that you have a torch to carry. I mean, there's been so many years before with so many guys, so many championships, with Coach Wolf and the staffs of the past, and how many great coaches have come out of our staff here at Brick Township High School. It's just a great tradition to have, and it's something that you can always build off of, and it's something that we always look back on, and we always, it's like a history repeating itself thing at Brick. You walk in that locker room, and there's, every team from 1950 58 on is up on the wall, and you look up and you can see every kid, every score, every player is staring down at you, and it's something that you want the kids to look around and say, okay, this is a little bit bigger than myself, and I'm part of a bigger thing, and I want to make sure that my team photo up there has a gold square around it, which means a championship. So it's something that we try to play off of, and we want the kids to understand that they have to leave something behind. Leaving a flag behind is what every team you want to try to do, and it's something that our kids really they buy into.
And I'm sure they have relatives like on a wall saying, "Hey, that's my uncle, or that's my dad, or that's my cousin, that's my neighbor." Right? You probably hear that all the time through the years, right?
Well, the scary thing now is I actually have this incoming class. I have kids of kids that I coached when I first started coaching in 1997. Wow. I have 2 kids now in the building that I coached their dads. So that means, like you said, I'm officially getting old. Yeah. So it's just fun to see that, and then talking to their dads, and being part of the Brick community. Great families from Brick that have been real part of Brick history. It's just great having them there, and it's great, everybody just knowing each other and knowing those guys when I first started coaching, and now I'm lucky enough to be the head coach here, and I'm coaching their sons. It's a great feeling.
It's something special, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I love back in the day watching. You're walking up onto the field and you see these older guys wearing their jackets, their varsity jackets that definitely don't fit, but they have it on. It comes up to here, but they wear it because they're so prideful, And I remember Warren Wolf when he was walking up to the field. Everybody made sure they let him know that they were there, and the town just shuts down and comes to the games. Really, really special place. It really is.
I tell you, man, it's something that you always want to try to bring back. Everything's a little different nowadays. Social media, internet, all this stuff has been everybody moving. Everybody's moving at a faster pace. But we hope Friday nights in Brick, or if it happens to be a Saturday afternoon, is a special place for people, and we can get our alumni and community to come out and support the team.
The one thing I really thought was funny with Coach Wolf, he used to always call me Bobby. Bobby, and he coached me in the All-Star game. Always remembered my name. But I was told, whatever name he calls you, accept it and move on. Because I've heard stories he would call people the wrong name, and you didn't want to change it because he would be talking, and you were Steve the whole time. And when you left, you're saying, did he know who I was? But it's funny, but he used to always call me Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby. And he was so funny because funny story was we played Brick my first year I had JV football. So he calls up the AD, and he goes, we want to scrimmage. We want to scrimmage your sophomores. And he always emphasized it. He called it your sophomores. So I get on the phone with him. He's like, Bobby, how are you? He goes, no juniors, just sophomores. I said, Coach, we only have sophomores and freshmen in the whole school. I have perfect, but don't bring the juniors. And I said, Coach, we don't have juniors. He goes, I know, just don't bring them. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay. So he goes, you're only going to scrimmage our JV team, sophomores. I said, okay. So we go there, and Brick was huge, like huge. Now you had a varsity team, all that. I'm taking a bunch of sophomore freshmen off the bus, and they're looking at these guys going, Coach, did we make the wrong turn? No, we're playing here, guys, right? So there was a practice, and in the midst of the practice, he comes up to me, how you guys doing? It's great to see you. Oh, you guys are so big. He goes, I hope you're all sophomores. Because he kept saying that. And they're all looking at him like, yeah, right? He goes, you didn't bring any of your upperclassmen, huh? And I said, Coach, no. So he walks away. And I remember talking to a couple of the assistants, and you guys had a water break. And I said, God, your JV team is huge. I said, holy smokes. I said, they're huge for sophomores. And I remember somebody looking over to me and go, they're not sophomores, they're juniors. I said, wait, no. He told me we're only going to have a sophomore scrimmage. He goes, Coach, that's our juniors. So we go to Brick, and he didn't want to play our juniors, just the sophomores, to play his juniors, right? So I was like, what? And he kept telling me, he goes, you didn't bring any juniors. I said, Coach, we didn't. So whatever I was saying, he kept repeating, no juniors. So
you didn't have any varsity guys.
No juniors for me, but juniors for him. And I was like, yeah, great. But you can't argue with him. He was great with the guys. He talked to all our players. He took a good liking to our program because we were starting something almost like what he did. But I think he had 4 classes at once when he first started, right?
Yeah. When they started, because Brick was actually, when Coach Fultz first opened the building, there was the kids from Brick would go to Point Beach, and they'd go to Central. So those kids were happy to not travel all the way to those 2 places. And they were all in Brick immediately when the building opened.
He was great. I mean, I would call the house. His wife would get the phone. She would hand it to him. Like, he always had to get a phone. Bobby? He just...
Yeah, he was coaches. It's just very missed, man. Very missed in this community, in this program. And we honor him on a daily basis, man.
I was very fortunate being a governor ball, and my job was to be quality control, and he was on the staff with a guy by the name of Joe Coviello. Yeah, do you know Joe?
Yeah, we all know Joe Coviello.
When Warren was with Joe, and the great story about that was Joe Coviello had the state record. Warren Wolf comes to Brick and beats his state record. That's incredible. So they were united for the first time for years. And to see Warren Wolf act like a little kid in front of Joe. And the way they were conversing, it was like his dad and he was the son, Warren Wolf. It was awesome. So I was.
We have a great picture of them together in our locker room.
Great. For that game, the Governor Bowl?
No, just when they were just them 2 together in their older years. It's a great picture that we have, from somebody had made it up, and we have a picture of it. And I still remember when back when Coach Coviello passed away, Coach Wolf wanted us to bring the team up, so I brought up a group of senior captains. Yeah. And we drove up with our the kids' varsity jackets on, their green shirts and ties up to his funeral, and it was well received by the Coviello family. Really loved the showing of support from Brick.
Coach, I want you to think about it, though. Think about it. An assistant coach was on his staff, and he was the all-time winningest coach in the state history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Picture the assistant coach, who was Warren, to go to build his own program, and he beat his own coach that he was with record. It's like a storybook. You couldn't. That's incredible.
No, listen, that's where short conference football came from, man.
That was incredible. I remember when Lou Versillo had all those wins, and I left. Somebody said, you can do the same. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to break Lou's records with that. There's no storybook going to happen here. But that was just an amazing, amazing thing for him to break his own coach's record. I
learned from the best, right? You learn from the best, man.
Yeah. Tell me one thing before we move on that you keep that Warren Wolf, is smiling at right now. Some type of tradition, something.
We have there's some saying. There's a nice quote we have in the locker room when you first walk in. It was an old sign that Coach Wolf had, about Brick football and about the expectations. So we still always keep that sign there. You walk in our locker room today, it probably looks the same as when our Coach Wolf's last time coaching. We roll out to the field. we listen,
Do you?
yeah, we still roll out onto the field. We do a lot, everything that Coach Wolf, you know, all the little things that he instilled in the kids. We try to do the same thing with traditions and the way we do things. And we do our father son dinner every year. We
Right.
do. We just try to do so many things that makes our program special in our hands.
I didn't know you still do the role.
Oh yeah, you see watch the All Shore game, man. You see the kids. Our kids are rolling out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great take me back
Quiet
memory
in the
lane.
locker room. That's another thing too.
What?
Well, in the locker room before the game, there's no music on. Everybody's just quiet.
That's rare in today.
No, that's our locker room.
It's quiet.
No, there's nothing. You talk, you're kicked out.
Really?
You're supposed to be concentrating on what you do. I let the kids put on AirPods and headsets, but there's no talking. And
Wow.
you can have your own little thing going on, but there's not going to be loud music and talking about what you're doing tonight. There's not going to be any of that going on. It's just going to be talking about what you got to do and taking care of business.
Wow, that's old school, man.
Listen, man. The one thing we used to have, which I actually have it on my phone, we used to have the only thing we ever had playing in there was the University of Michigan marching band and playing fight songs. So I actually have that on my phone. If I ever want to play it on a Bluetooth, I could put that on, but I just haven't done it. My kids, some of the kids are like, "Oh, we should play music at practice," and I'm like, "Yeah, not happening.
That's awesome.
I can't do that."
And the kids know why, right?
Yeah, they know that. Listen, we're an old school program, man. I mean, it's listen, we take pride in getting the best out of our kids. The one thing I can always say is every kid that comes in this program and stays for 4 years, I don't think there's another program that's going to make them better than we're going to make them. We might not have had, like Coach Signorino used to always say, like, play above your level. He used to give a speech about, if you're a 5 talent level, getting that kid to play like an 8. If you're in a 7 or 8, getting that kid to play like a 10, but never get a 7 or 8 and have him play like a 5. And that's one thing I think we can take pride in. It. Whatever talent level you have, and you come to Brick, our kids, you're gonna leave there above your talent level as far as how you perform, because our coaches are gonna get the best out of you. And that's one thing I think Coach Wolf always did. He always, with Coach Signorino, the staff that Coach had over the years, Coach Cabu, Coach Spada, going back to all the great coaches, they always got the best out of their kids, and that's something that we will always emulate. And I tell my kids that, you might not like me, you might be mad at me. I said, but the only thing you'll never say to me is, Coach, I wish you pushed me harder. I wish you would have got more out of me, because I told the kids, you'll quit before I stop getting on you about you reaching your potential. I said, I'd rather have you tell me that you wish you would have listened to me than you come to me and say, I wish you would have pushed me harder, because that's something I can control. And as long as I can control how hard I am on you, then I'm going to try to get everything out of you. And then we'll be friends when you're done playing, and I'll be there for anything you need. But I'm gonna get on you until I can get the best out of you.
And that's the way you were raised.
That's the way our program is, man. I mean, you gotta, you're raising young men to be young boys to be young men, and when they go out in life, are they gonna fold? Are they gonna quit? Are they gonna run away from a challenge? Right. We hope that our kids are not, and they're gonna face those challenges, and that's why we're hard on them, and we raise them to be tough, because life is tough, and nobody cares. They just keep working harder. That's what we're talking about with our kids.
Len, when I do these shows, I want to be true to myself. I don't write things and prepare things. I want it to be real. So, 10, 15 minutes when I come up with you, I'm just thinking reminiscent, tradition, all that stuff. And wherever the conversations take us to, and this was great, listening to your tradition. I love hearing that stuff. I'm writing notes and I'm like, wow, that's incredible. Yeah. In today's society, kids like those music and loud, and I know I can do the earplug things, but I want you to hear my music too. It's like everybody's raising the noise louder, but it's complete silence. That's got to be intimidating to another team if they walk by.
Listen, I don't want to worry about the other teams. I just know that we're worried about our team. We got to control what we can control. I just look at our kids when teams are hooting and hollering and doing what they do. Mm-hmm. There's a time. There's a time to get on the field. There's a time to battle. And once the ball's kicked off and it's time to go at 7 or whatever time, we'll be ready. Even if we're undermanned, if we're not as talented as you, you're going to be ready for 48 minutes of football when you play us.
And those helmets are still the same.
God, they're still the best, man. There's nothing better.
Still the same. I remember when you messaged me when we did our or the
you
helmet
know, you
voting.
know.
The helmet voting. It's not even close. And
Ah, listen, man.
I love it. But that's
I love
awesome.
our helmet, man. I just think listen, it's special.
It is.
It's the same it's always been, and it'll never change.
It's. I mean, why change it? I mean, it's got so
Yep.
many memories, and
Yep.
as long as those kids, because kids today, they don't appreciate history. They don't know anything that happened 3 days ago. But if you're still hanging on to those rituals and traditional stuff, I think that's a great lesson. I love that. I love that, Len.
No,
Thank you
we
for
talk
that.
about it. We want to get the kids to buy into it. We want to get them to be thinking that, like I said, they're part of something bigger than themselves, and they got to leave something behind. That's what we try to talk about tradition.
All right, let me just throw this mask off, Coach. No more
Please get
pods.
rid of it.
I look better with the mask on, but pods, no mask, no COVID.
Now let's hope it stays that way.
Knock on wood. Besides that, we're all right. But these seniors, the last 2 years had no normal off season at all. You had your program rolling. I mean, you're one of the best in off season guys in terms of in the weight room, and what you do is incredible. But you had to reteach your whole program, just like every other
Yeah.
coach. Tell us right now what you do normally. What does a normal off season program look like? And take us right through to the summer with the weight room right after the season, and go on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we finish up, I'm in charge of the weight room in the winter and spring, so I have it open, in December once the season's over, November and December,
Mhm.
and I allow the kids to come in there, and I actually work on, specific lifts and teaching them the lifts and everything in our program, but I don't really start our program until January 1st. I want the kids to just, I told them to go home after school. If you got something to do, go do it. Do whatever you got to do. Play your sports. We'll be here for you, and we'll take care of you. But I want them to, in December, basically they're just learning. I want them to learn the program. So I'm teaching them, how to power clean, how to do the deadlifts, how to do squats. The basic stuff that we do is like as a build up to some of those exercises. So I'm trying to work all that stuff. But again, with the amount of kids that we have, especially that are multiple sport athletes, that puts a lot of stress on how our program works. So for me, I break it down into just like a winter season, a spring season, and I know every season, with the kids especially with kids that are playing sports, one of those seasons, I'm going to have different kids. I'm going to have different kids coming in,
Mhm.
and when they come in, it's going to be the first time that they've done it. So I have to be at different levels with some of the kids, but I try to cater the workouts to the kids, and I try to make our workout. I have an app that the kids access on their phone.
Oh,
So
yeah?
for me, yeah, it's good where the kids will basically, and I like it a lot because we got a lot of multiple sport athlete kids. So if they're practicing after school
Uh-huh.
and they can't go to the gym with me, then they can go to, Retro, LA, Planet Fitness at night, and they can open up their app and the workout's right there.
Wait,
I try to
do they write their numbers in there too?
it's all done off of their analytics. They put all their maxes in there, and everything spits out what they got to do.
Okay.
So, and then once they log in, I get a notification that they're in, and I get a notification when they log out, so I can see what they've done.
Nice.
Again, can a kid fake it? Of course he can, but if that kid fakes it, listen, the iron don't lie, man. When they come in to max out,
Yeah, when you
the
max
iron don't
out,
lie.
it don't lie. Yeah.
It don't lie, man.
No.
So when they come in, and if they can't do what they said they've done, then it shows that they're not. You can't cheat the grind, coach.
No.
So, we do that. We do that for as many kids as we can that are doing multiple sport athletes. The kids doing track, it's always good because they can be in there all the time with their coaches.
Mhm.
Having so many coaches on my staff that are head coaches in the building really helps out, because everybody's on the same page with getting the kids working out. Having so many multiple sport athlete and multiple sport coaches really helps us out.
Mhm.
But, the big thing that I've seen with some of my kids that are like seniors now, some of the kids, they don't have that great base that I've always had. Like in 2019, after we went to the finals in 2018, and then 2019 coming right after, we lost a lot of good football players, but we had coming back the strongest team we ever had. That team was probably some of the strongest kids that we've had. They were kids that were 4-year grinders in the program, and they were, we had 6 400-pound squatters, we had a bunch of 300-pound benchers, we had some strong kids.
Yeah.
We had a dog schedule. I mean, we had a tough schedule. We played probably the toughest schedule on the shore.
Mhm.
Playing a lot of the top teams in the shore, which is no problem. Well, yeah, we didn't have a winning record to show for it, but we did have a good football team. And after that, once COVID hit, then we wind up with, a lot of these kids that really needed to follow it up didn't get that opportunity because of everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of hurt us there. And then the following couple of years, not having that base, not being able to get them. And I say to get them to drink the Kool-Aid, that terminology, where they get in there, they start lifting, they start getting a feel for it. They start looking in the mirror and they say, wait a minute here, look at that. And then they start drinking the Kool-Aid and they want to get more and more of it. Mm-hmm. So that's what we like to do with our kids. And not having that kind of hurt us a little bit. So now we're trying to build it back up. With the younger kids, we're starting to build it up. And some of my older kids, some of the kids I have some new kids out that are real strong. And some of my seniors are real strong. So we got a lot of kids that have really done a lot of good stuff in the weight room.
Well, I think every kid out there is almost a year and a half to 2 years behind in terms of lifting because it affected everybody, Len. I mean, not everybody has a gym in their house.
No, you're right.
But boy, oh boy, were we creative, with our workouts. And I was one of those guys that would have lied about the app because I got pretty lazy during the COVID,
Yeah, I remember what you looked like, man, in college and stuff. You weren't one of those big weight room guys.
Thank you.
All anybody has to do is go back and see a picture of it.
Yeah, so there's no reason to lie about that.
No, you weren't no Garvin Hayden or anything. Man.
No, I wasn't Garvin at all. But yeah, it's good to be back to normal, Coach. And you're one of those guys that likes to go go work out with them. You love the weight room. You always were, even at college. I could definitely say that about you. But you definitely get a personality of your team in the weight room, correct?
Listen, man, we want to run the ball, and the best way to do that is to be able to move people. How do you move people? You get stronger. I put a sign up in the weight room this year that I really loved. I saw it somewhere, and I had it made right away, and it was in my weight room in 2 days, and it says there's no substitute for strength and no excuse for the lack of it. So I thought it was awesome, so I had to put it up. And every time the kids walk in and out of the weight room, they stare at it. And then I look at that, I tell them to look at it. And I said, is that you? Is that who you are? Do you have an excuse? And some of the kids put their head down, and some of the kids like, yep, no excuse, coach, no excuses. I got it. So I just like, pointing it out to the kids, because, I tell them if the stronger you are and the bigger and the faster you are, the easier our job as coaches becomes.
Yeah.
If everything works when we call it, then that means that you guys are just overpowering people. But the weaker we are as a team, the more we have to be, very inventive as coaches.
Coach, I do want to add this. You didn't mention it. I was waiting for you to mention it because I think it's something you're doing is great. But it's your strongman competitions.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's what we do. I mean, listen, and we do that. I know the whole thing. You said, we do a speed and agility whole circuit in the spring. We go to All-Star. Coach Brian Blue over there. We had about 50 kids this year participate in speed and agility training.
Really?
With Coach Blue. Yeah, that's outside the program, and he does an awesome job with our team.
How far away is that? How far away is that from your school?
It's on Route 9 in Toms River, so it's probably for some of our kids, it's not even 10 minutes.
So
some of the kids maybe 15
kids.
minutes.
50 kids go to an outside place to do it. That's incredible.
Yeah, we had one night a week and one weekend morning, and we had a lot of kids signed up, and a lot of kids took advantage of it. So that was good. But in the summer, we do a little strongman training. We do some 7-on-7s, and then we also have all the linemen down in our pit, and we're doing farmers carries. We're doing keg deadlifts, keg throws, plate circuit. We do a D-lineman circuit, tug of wars, tire tug of wars. You name it. There's some type of thing. We're going to try to do it. We have all those little apparatuses made up, and my line coaches between Coach Smythe, Coach Cruz, Coach Blackburn, and Coach Kite, they go over there and they set it up, and both teams come over there. And I love the fact that, like, in the middle of the summer, when it's 7-on-7 season, everybody's watching 7-on-7. The linemen are usually like, well, what do we do? We're doing this, and all the skill guys start creeping over to watch our kids because there's so much screaming and hooting and hollering and cheering on. and it brings all the attention back to the offensive line, which I like, where it's just it's part of both. You got to have both a good mix, but usually this summer is 7-on-7 season, and the linemen are just forgotten about. But we just try to make it even, where everybody gets a little bit of taste of the cake.
Len is, I mean, I experienced it. I brought my team over, and we had a great time. 7-on-7s, we had our thing, and then all the hoot and hollering, and we kept looking and listening because there was so much. Like, our guys were excited because you got them excited. I actually said to the one coach, "Can you tell Lenny to keep the noise down? We're trying to do 7-on-7 here." It was incredible. But I mean, you what you did was you motivated those guys, and they had fun. They were competing, and they got a great workout. Really did.
It's the only thing I told my kids. I want to find out who's going to compete.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see in the summer. Who is competing?
Yeah.
Because, listen, 7-on-7, call whatever you want. It's not football. It's a way to learn your passing game. But other than that, it has no use in anything. But it's good to learn your offense. It's good to learn your passing game as far as offense. I think that's the only thing it's good for. And it's not real football. But I just love the fact that I want to see kids competing. When you're going against somebody and it's one-on-one, are you going to shy away or you're going to compete? That's all. That's what we're looking for.
Well, during the summer, I'm sure we could look at it like this with you guys. Your skill guys are working on RPO stuff, and then your linemen are doing RPO stuff, except the RPO stands for run, power, often. There you go. Coach, Tell us about your coaching staff.
Listen, I tell my parents every year when I have my meeting, and I'll say it every year, is my job as a head coach is to put together the best staff I can every year. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of people that contact me about joining my staff. And I'm fortunate enough to have a great group of guys that are in my building, and I'm fortunate enough to have a superintendent that's been very helpful in formulating my staff. So right now, I'm a defensive coordinator is Brian McNamara, who me and Brian have been together probably like 15 years now. We've worked together. We're very close. We understand each other, and we battle back and forth on the board a lot, and we have a fun time with it. And I just know that there's not a guy out there that I'd rather have in that spot for me. So I'm fortunate enough to have Brian. He'll be working with the corners and the safeties in the secondary. On the defense, also I have Coach John Prado is going to be with our secondary. He's going to be working the secondary along with Coach Mack. He's a kid that played for us at Brick, played at Kutztown. From a good sports family. So his brother played for me too. Great kids, great guy in the building as a science teacher, great with the kids. My linebacker coach, Chad Doherty, been around a couple different places. He's our linebacker coach. He teaches math in our building. Great with the kids. Kids love him. He gets along, has a great relationship with the kids. Another kid I'm fortunate enough to have, defensive line coach, Joe Smythe, played for me when I was coaching D-line at Brick. Played a little bit in college, and then now fortunate enough to have him back as a D-line coach, was an MVP of our team as an offensive defensive lineman. When he played and graduated in 2004, he was our MVP. Kids love him. He has a great relationship with the kids. On our offense side of the ball, again, fortunate enough, Matt Fuller joins us from Pinelands as the offensive coordinator. Talking to Matt over the years, he coached with us years ago when he first started coaching. He was one of our freshman assistants. I've been in touch with him ever since. We talk here and there. In the offseason, we talk. We scrimmaged him last year. And, he got a job in Brick. He lives in Brick, so it's, a lot easier on him and his family. He loved his time in Pinelands, but he said it's just, when you got 3 kids, it's tough driving 45 minutes every day.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate enough to have Matt here. He'll be coaching the quarterbacks. Coach Andrew Cruz, who played for us here at Brick, was an offensive lineman for me. Went on to play in college, an offensive lineman. He's back coaching offensive line. He's a teacher in our middle school in Lake Riviera Middle School. So he did a great job this year recruiting kids to play in our team, getting kids in the hallways in middle school. So we're happy enough to have him there. John Dolan is a wide receiver coach. Coach was a coach for years in Carteret High School. Our daughters cheerlead together. They're both cheerleaders this year, senior members of the cheerleading team here at Brick. So me and John grew up going to cheer competition together. And then one day I kind of gave him a call and asked him if he knew anybody that was looking to coach wide receivers. And he says, well, funny thing, you should say that because I just stepped down from Carteret. And I'm like, well, are you interested? He's like, yes. So I got John coaching with us now. He coaches baseball in the building too. So really glad to have John with us.
Yeah.
Then one of my great gets this year. I was doing the running backs, and then at the All Shore game at the high school, I was talking with Coach Bob Grace, and I played in college with his sons. So I mentioned to him if he was doing anything, if he was interested in coaching, and lo and behold, I'm lucky enough to get Bob Grace on our staff coaching the running backs. And when you can get an older guy that has great experience like Coach Grace and has the energy that he has to coach running backs and everything, and it's helped me as a coach is something that that I always love to have these older guys that have been around, that just have been around winning programs, and they just know what it looks like. It's just guys that you want around. And Bob is one of those guys that I'm fortunate enough to get on my staff. I'm happy to have him, and his experience is really going to help our staff. And I have Kurt Weibolt, who's been with me. We graduated high school together. He does our kickers and helps with our special teams, and he basically is like my underboss of the program. If I can use that term. Does everything that I don't really, some of the stuff that I don't really want to know about, takes care of that stuff with the team. Jared Kite is another guy that played for me, coaches with us, and he has a job working some crazy hours, so he gets there whenever he can. Fortunate enough to have Jared there. Jack Bush is going to be joining us. The Bushman is a great guy with video, so he's going to be helping us this year coordinate our video department. So Jack was with Brick in the past. Coming over from Lacey. So I'm fortunate enough. I love Jack. He's a great guy. Love to have him around. He's a good guy. And our freshman staff is headed by Coach Jay Groeschel, who's also our head baseball coach. So me and Jay, another kid that graduated high school with me at Brick. We're part of a state championship team here. He lives down the street from me, so we're in touch all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Blackburn is our defensive coordinator on the freshman level. Chris is the head lacrosse coach, head coaches ice hockey. So it's just guys that have a big stake in the school. That's what I have. And I'm fortunate enough to have these guys on our staff. And, I'm just a lucky guy. And one of my other guys on the varsity staff is Christian Malta. He's the kid that played for us, and he helps us out with some things. And one of those guys that was just a tough, hard-nosed Brick kid, and he comes there and he brings that, helping us out with some of the kids and some of the stuff. And just a great group of Brick guys, and I'm very fortunate to have these guys get jobs in Brick. Our superintendent, basically just says, listen, if you have a guy that you like and there's a spot open, he goes, if you give me a recommendation, I'll get him an interview. And that's all I can ask for. You get an interview, that's all you can ask for if you want a job, and then you got to win it from there. Yeah. And that's what our superintendent has told me, and he's done everything everything he's told me he's done, and he's got our district heading in the right direction.
Well, your superintendent is one of the best out there, no doubt.
Yeah, he's great, man. He really, he's passionate about what he wants to do, and he says something and he gets it done. It's just that simple. I mean, he wants something. Getting our field ready for the All Shore game this year. I mean, if you would have seen our field in the middle of the spring, you would have said we can't play the game here. It didn't look good, and then he said, "Oh, we're playing the game here," and he took care of it and he got it done. Which is, listen, I don't know if you want anything else from me, superintendent, but a guy that says he's going to do something and he gets it done. And I just can't be, I go way back with him. His brother-in-law is Leon Mawadia, who I played with. We graduated together at Brick.
Yeah.
So we've known each other. I've known him for years, and I've known him as a friend. But now as my boss, I'm happy to say that he's as good as anybody we've ever had here.
I've known Tommy for a long time. I saw him at a 7-on-7. We were talking, and I looked him in the eye. I said, "You can't hide behind that suit and tie. You're a football dude. You're a football." He was a college coach, a high school coach, but he loves kids. He loves, all the activities. He wants kids to be active after school. He's all about that. It's great to have a guy like that. It's also great to have guys in your program that been there, done it through Brick, or have been working in Brick for such a long time. You added some new guys. I heard Jack Bush and also Bob Grace, guys that been there, done it, and probably have some even more stories to add to the locker room with you guys. But sounds like a fun staff.
It's very. You gotta have thick skin in that coach's room, man. You gotta have thick skin. It's a good group of guys. Glad to be around them. Fortunate enough to have them working for us.
Awesome, Coach. To the left is your schedule, and to the right is your newly formed Freedom Division. That's always assembled every year. for whatever rhyme or reason that is. Coach, give us a little schedule insight with you guys.
Well, like really looking at it, I mean, there's really not much different than what we played last year. Central's new on there, Red Bank is new, but everybody else we played, last year in some in conference, some out of conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very familiar with what we have. Red Bank is a team. I don't know if we've, as far as I can go back at Brick, I don't think we've ever played them. As far as I've been here, so it'd be pretty cool playing a different team like that. They got a great staff there too. With some great coaches, so it'd definitely be a challenge for us. But as far as like if you go down in order, Marlboro, we played them at the end last year. We picked them up as a game. They're going to be a good opponent for us. They got a lot of good skill guys this year coming back. Some good linemen, a good solid running game. So it'll be a battle of the wills right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom's River South. I mean, we picked up that game last year. I called up the coach over there, Ron Sig Jr., and he was one of my coaches when I coached at Brick, and I said we got to get playing each other again. He's like, "Yep." So we definitely decided to play, and lo and behold, I think we're back in the same division.
Yeah.
So it's nice to play them and get them back on the schedule. It's always Brick South has always been a great thing. And then Neptune last year we played Neptune, and for us it was the game that if something could have went wrong, it went wrong. We were down a lot of kids with COVID, and we had 2 kids ambulanced off the field against them. We were down to no quarterbacks, but we actually they at the end of that game they were pounding us a little bit, and they got us pretty good. So it'd be nice to get another shot at them. I told you about Red Bank. Great coaching staff there. A lot of respect for all the experience they have on that staff. Central, those guys. Coach Pitch has it going on over there. They've done some good things in the last couple of years. They're going to be similar to us. They're going to run the ball. So we'll be. We played them a couple of years back. I think 2 years ago. We went out in a tight game with them that we were fortunate to come out on top. But definitely be a tough game there.
Mm-hmm.
Ocean Township, we caught them last year. Getting healthy, they had a lot of injuries last year. So we were fortunate enough to play them when they were down a few guys. But we know their quarterback and some studs they have there. It's going to be definitely a tough team to play. Lacey is Lacey. Lacey is we could think they're very similar to us, this type of kids, the type of style they play, and that's just going to be a battle. And then Brick, Memorial is going to be a battle with us. It's always going to be. It's a fun game for us, and it's it's always something we look forward to playing them. It's our little in-house rivalry here.
Yeah, interesting, Coach. Shoot over to the right side, Freedom Division. When I was on,
okay.
Are you there?
Yeah,
I was on here with Coach Klein earlier today, and we were talking. This division, I said, if I'm walking to the field, I can see a bunch of old school guys in the community wearing their varsity jackets. A lot of tradition. Winning tradition in the past. Neptune, Ocean. You have Toms River South back in the 70s, 80s. You have Red Bank back in the day, in the 80s. Of course, Brick and Brick Memorial all have won state championships in their years of opening, and a lot of hungry teams now because they all want to get back to those days right now. What's your take on this division? I know there's a lot of parity. We keep saying that and all that, but playing teams that when you played, they were really good teams, and that they all have the possibility of doing it again this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think every year, when you look at the schedules and the way everything comes out, I think the higher ups are getting exactly what they want. They're getting parity. You're getting a lot of parity in the teams that you play.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting, sometimes, again, for us, we're very familiar with a lot of these teams, but you're not just getting those familiar rivalries that you've always had. So that's the one thing that's changing a little bit, but they're getting what they want out of them. And, we're having those, the parity within the teams and within the division. And I think when you look at your teams that you play, I think every coach will tell you, I mean, listen, if things go our way, we can win. If things don't go our way, we can lose. And I think that's what, most of the purpose of the schedule and the way we're doing things is to make it like that for every team. And I can say that, I feel that way about our team. Even though we lost a lot of good football players, I feel, if we play our best and we get the most out of our kids as a coaching staff, we can compete with everybody in our division. I think everybody else is saying the same thing too.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 rivalries I mean, Tom's River South and Brick, huge rivalry. And of course, Brick Memorial. How important is it in your program to have rivalries like that each year?
Well, again, it's stuff that you wanna have. Not having for years just playing North, Tom's River North, Tom's River South, Tom's River East, Jackson, Brick Memorial, Southern, the teams that we would play every year. Not having them anymore and just
Mm-hmm.
playing the other teams. At least you become familiar with some of the teams,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to try to keep those, some of the rivalries and traditions. But it's just tough when you're playing, when you're Brick and you're playing, Neptune from up here, Ocean from over there,
Yeah.
Red Bank from over here, and you're not playing teams that are all in your backyard, which is that leads to some more rivalries. But I think it's the parity, which is what they're trying to get, and
Mm-hmm.
they're getting it. I mean, it's not maybe something that some people would like. I mean, I'm a fan of our traditional stuff. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I like to play the teams that are in our backyard, and you want to win in your backyard first, then you go from there. That's what I like. But I'm not in charge, and I'm just going to coach who they put in front of me.
Yeah.
We're going to play who we put in front of us.
Yeah, I kind of the old days. You go to the mall and you see all your opponents that you'd be playing every year. Now you got to go. You don't know who you're bumping into or playing each year because you're at the mercy of a new division every year. And the thing I don't like is that we reassemble our divisions and the groupings come out like now. So
Yeah,
they put people together and all of a sudden they're not a group 4 school now, they're a group 2 or they're a
yeah, you're
group
right.
2 that turned to group 4. So I don't understand the rhyme or reason. I wish we whatever it was, let's stay in it at least for 2 years. Because here's what I don't like: if you played a team and you were young and the other team were seniors and they beat you and they beat you pretty good, the next year, redemption. You say, you know what? We're going to get them back. But you can't because they leave, you stay, you go or go somewhere else.
Yep, yep.
And there's none of that rivalry ever built, Because a
Oh,
rivalry.
listen, man, that's exactly what happened. I feel like 2018 when we had 2017 when they changed everything. We had a bunch of sophomores playing, and it was time to play A South with our kids that are getting up, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, and I still remember the day in the weight room, my kids, and it came out. I saw it, and I was just not in a great mood because we weren't playing our traditional teams,
No.
and it was like, who are we playing? And I'm like, oh, and I'm like in the corner of the weight room, just not in a good mood. And all of a sudden it comes out, and the kids are popping on their phones, and they're like, the kids were, what is this? We're not playing North.
Yeah.
We're not playing this. We're not. They were free. They were upset. I mean, it's like, and these kids grow up playing against these kids. Now, listen, everybody plays everywhere. Kids move here. Kids move there for whatever reason. I guess always some people think the grass is always greener somewhere else. And you know what? The kids are a little different with that nowadays with playing. And they're not going to the mall; they're shopping on Amazon, and they're listening to
right.
the Football Report. That's a difference.
Right.
Where
That's different.
that's what they're doing now.
But rivalries can't be developed because for a true rivalry, you have to win and lose, and they don't allow it. So you're doing one or the other, and then they go, "Okay, next," and you rotate into another schedule the next year. I mean, you need to be able to say, "Hey, I beat that team 2 out of 4 times, or 3 out of 4, or 1 out of the last 5." You can't even say it. You get your chance, and every team changes from one year to the next, and they don't allow the redemption to happen. It doesn't.
The only thing I can say between I guess it would be 2016, maybe all the way through 2019, the one rivalry that we really had going pretty good was with Freeholborough. It was something that came out of nowhere. When we battled back and forth, we won some, they won some, and we had some really good battles. And it became a little rivalry. I mean, a coaching rivalry back and forth with the kids back and forth. They went to the finals. We went to the finals. We played in the season. We played in the playoffs. It was fun. And that's one thing that came out of it. But again, now that's gone. And, it just changes and on to the next one. And, like I said, the division, somebody asked me, what's your division? I go, I don't know. I don't know the name of it. I just know we're playing. I don't care what the name of it is. If it's not A South, I really just don't care. So that's all I say.
You know what it is, Coach? It's no personal touch to it. It's you're here because of this. The personal touch, the feelings, we'll get you. We want to play you again. Like you got to be able to to play multiple times before you change over. You got to make it a 2-year thing. Let us
Well,
settle
listen,
into the division.
that's sorry to say, but that's where people talk about the bylaws and they try to go by the bylaws. And if you read the short conference bylaws, that's what it says, man. It says football divisions will be the same for a minimum of 2 years, and they kind of threw those out the window. So I guess you just make it up as we want to, But every other sport gets to play A South, B South, and we got to play whatever. What are we in?
The federal
Freedom Colonial Institution Division, right?
Honestly, coaches don't really, and players probably 100% of them don't know exactly the name of the divisions until
it changes every year, man.
It does. Freedom, the federal, it's all the above.
Good. Yeah, the history lesson divisions.
Coach, tell us what you're running offensively, defensively.
Well, offensively, we're going to be very multiple with our formations. Basic plays. We're gonna run power. I mean, if you play against Brick, you're going to have to stop us running the ball. That's what we're going to do first and foremost. We're going to run our counters off of power. We're going to run our plays off of power, our read plays, front side and back side. But we're going to be play action. We're going to be sprint out with a little bit of quick game mixed in. That's kind of what we do. It's what we like to do. It's what I'm comfortable with. It's what fortunate talking with Matt Fuller and what he's done in the past. It's what he's comfortable with. So we've kind of really gelled, me and him together. So I kind of like where it's going with the two of us. And defensively, we're going to be, with me and Brian, again, we've been mostly a 4-down front, but we are going to have our odd package for certain situations, where we might do some movement with that. In our 4-man front, with our 4-3 look too. We're just very multiple. We're just trying to. I got fortunate enough to have a defense coordinator that can be very multiple and can cater the defense for the personnel strength that we have year to year. And that's what I think that in high school football, you have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least for public school, high school football, you have to be, because you just can't go out and get what you want. You got to just groom what you have. So if you have a strong group of defensive linemen, then you got to put more of them on the field. If you have a strong group of linebackers, you got to put more of them on the field. And same thing secondary-wise. So wherever your strengths are, and it comes to the old, the simple thing. How do you get your best 11 on the field? I don't like to to force a kid onto the field and I have somebody else better on the bench. That's not good coaching. That's not what we should be doing. So we're going to be catering our defense to get our best on the field and to cater to stop the team that we're playing and what they do best. We got to try to take it away.
All right, Coach, I love this segment right now because we're going to talk top positional groups. I did research on everybody in the shore, every team, and I'm going to talk about Brick and what I feel is the strength of your offense, defense, and your special teams. And I know you're going to tell me if I'm wrong. You ready?
We'll see.
And I know you.
I don't know if you've been in my huddle or not.
No, but I do have a drone flying over. And I
knew I heard
that. All right, here's what I got. I think the strength to your offense is your offensive lineman. And hear me out. It's not just because your workouts you did. And I did hear from some of the teams that went there that you got some dudes there. So I did take some notes. I cross-referenced some things. I know you got Mike Parmigiano, Colin Wilson, a junior, William Walsh, the other two before are seniors. And, of course, you got Tyson Lopez at tight end. I think he's a really potential big-time guy in the Shore Conference. And then you have this senior that I heard about, Abdul Rami.
You heard about?
I heard about him. Yeah, I did. Listen, the Shore Football Report is in everybody's backyard. And those guys I heard about. And, tell me something about that unit.
Listen, we're gonna go downhill, man. Parmesan is he's our rock up front. He's been a starter for this is his third year. Colin played since his sophomore year. Will, as a junior, played as a sophomore too. Lopez has been our tight end since his sophomore year, rotating in. So we got a lot of experience there with those guys. Jake Toy played a little tight end last year. He'll be playing a little bit more he'll be used in a lot different ways this year. Mm-hmm. Not just tight end in line, be all over the place. And then Abdul, who we affectionately call here is Waj. Waj is a kid that I've been trying to get to play football for a couple of years. He's one of those kids that's just he's a power lifter. He's been playing basketball, so he's got pretty good feet. And now he's probably about 6'1", about 260. He's as strong as a high school kid that we've ever had, and he's picking football up very quickly. Let's just say that he's picking it up. He's like a sponge. He absorbs everything you tell him. He analyzes it. Very smart kid, and just never seen a kid grow so fast. And I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see what he can bring. The kids. He's been a pleasant find, and I'm glad he joined the team up front. And we got another H-back too, Chris Salvato, that came after the team. Another powerlifter kid that didn't play in high school, but played youth football and was a pretty good football player when he was younger. So I've been trying to get him to play for years. So this year we got them both committed coming out. They are very emotional kids. They're going to be emotional leaders on our team. That's what it seems like with them. So I'm just glad to have them out, and I'm excited to see what the season holds for that line up front. And I think you got that pretty good up there, Coach.
I think defensively, Coach McNamara would probably agree with me, but I think your linebackers.
Oh, jeez, Coach.
I think your linebackers are special. Inside linebacker, Junior William Walsh is back. You got Jacob Toy, love Travis Trempe, an athlete that plays both sides of the ball. And Ezra Myers is a guy that I think everybody's going to hear about at the end of the season. I think so.
How'd you hear about Ezra?
I got my ways, man.
Coach, Ezra is a kid that, you forgot Colin Wilson, who's our returning 3-year starter in the middle, who puts it all together.
Wow. And Colin Wilson, you didn't let me finish the
thing. Okay, I'm sorry.
But you got some dudes, you got some brick dudes.
We like those kids. We got a bunch of football players there. Toy is a great athlete. He is the great grandson of Bob Oriema, who was our legendary hockey coach, and he plays hockey too. So him and those hockey skates at 6'3" on the ice looks pretty big, and he's got some slap shot. I can tell you that from seeing it. And he's very athletic. He's got great soft hands. He's very good in the open field for a big kid. Will is a downhill plugging linebacker who will smack you in the mouth. Colin, the same thing. They're almost like very, very similar to each other. Trempe's more of an outside guy, like Toy. They're both like explosive off the edge. Trempe going to play a little running back for us too. And Ezra is a kid that played as a freshman. Didn't play last year. We're glad to get him back. He looks like he's chiseled out of stone. He's a big kid, and he moves really good. So I'm glad to get Ezra back. But as far as linebackers go, those guys, Coach, you kind of I don't know. I got to check what kind of camera you have on my field over here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, anybody you put linebacker are tough dudes at Brick. They just are. So.
Well, they better be. They're because they got to stop the run against us first.
You're right. And special teams wise, I think there's going to be a do not kick back here for the next 3 years.
Really?
You have a sophomore. I don't know if you want everybody to know, Jaden Johnson, fantastic kid, dynamic. He's going to be a dude for 3 years. Tell me something. Tell me something about him, because I have heard a lot about him. I know you got Pokish and also AJ, your quarterback, who's a dynamic playmaker, probably can do that too. Tell me something about Jaden Johnson that I probably did not know.
Jaden's got a great personality. I mean, he's very coachable. Last year on the freshman level, we didn't have great numbers on our freshman team last year. Jaden came in playing a lot of flag football coming in.
Yeah.
So we knew about him, and I knew him. I seen a lot of video of him. But he came in, and usually you get those kids that play a lot of flag and not much tackle. They're different with contact, but that was not the case with Jaden. We put him as the quarterback on our freshman team, and if he didn't have to break 3 or 4 tackles on every play, he was a tough runner last year for our freshman team. And watching his moves in the open field, he's got some wiggle to him. We played a little varsity basketball. Ran a little track for us. So it's a kid that is a potential all-sure caliber 3-sport athlete. We're excited about him. He's shown a lot of glimpses in the 7-on-7 of going up and playing the ball really well. And just a great kid, a great smile, and very coachable. So He's good. Johnny Pokish is another hard-working kid. He's not going to wow you at all. He's just going to make those great, run good routes. He's
Right.
going to catch the ball. So we're expecting he's worked hard in the offseason and joining track, getting faster, working on his hands.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, back there. Logan Donnelly. Maybe Christian Booker might also be back there returning kicks. We got a lot of kids. Julian Beltran, another kid that played track last year, a track kid that played as a freshman that's back out. Little as a sophomore that's fast. Ethan Christensen, another kid that might be back there. So we got a lot of kids that got some speed, little quick brick kids, like we call them. They're tough. They can shifty. They're moving, and they'll definitely smack you in the mouth.
Nice. So I kind of hit it pretty close, right?
No, you're scaring me, man. I just think I want to know who my inside guy is that's giving you this info.
Well, you have a lot of coaches.
My kids on Instagram and stuff.
No, you have a lot of coaches in there.
Yeah, you do. Don't tell me that, Coach.
You never know, but
you're hitting the wrong way there, man.
I've only heard nothing but great things, Coach, from my sources.
Kids,
but
love my guys.
But those three position groups, I think that you're very excited about for this season.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited about some of these kids and some of these kids that are new and some of our kids that have really busted their butt in the weight room and really worked hard. I want to see them, like I told them, it's like you got a brand new toy. Your body's your brand new toy.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than it was last year. Go out there and take it for a test drive and see what you got, and we have some kids that have done that, and I want to see those kids excel. I always tell my coaches, I root for the kids that put the time in. I want to see those kids get on the field and work hard and get the Friday night glory, but I also know that we have to play the best, no matter who it is. So, but I'm always going to be that guy that's going to root for the kids that are the hard workers because, in my opinion, when it gets down to it, those are the kids that aren't going to quit on you. They'll never quit because they got too much invested.
The guys that are closing up the weight room, I know you're pulling for them on the football field.
Every coach would, Coach. You know that. Those are the guys that you want to see win a spot and work hard. But, if they can't play the sport, they can't play the sport. It's the game's not played in the weight room as much as you want to say it would be. It's not.
Coach, we hit a lot of names. We really did in our talk right now. This is the part we talk about returning players, which we talked about a lot of players, underclassmen or needles in the haystack, guys that maybe I might not know about that may be playing on the big stage at Brick. Whatever it is, just tell me something a little bit about your guys, your team makeup that you got for this season that you're excited about. Because I told you that earlier, that there was something about this team that kind of got you excited, and it must be the work ethic.
It is. I've seen a lot of these kids. I told you, we had 50-plus kids going to speed and agility training.
Awesome.
8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and 8 o'clock at night on a Thursday. And the kids are working. Coach Blue is working them out for an hour there. I would sneak by and watch them every once in a while, But, we got those kids that are there. There's a lot of kids that did that. We got a lot of kids that play multiple sports. So I love that part. I love that aspect. I love going to watch them play their other sports. I sit in the outfield sometimes watching the baseball games. I go, watch basketball games. I watch the wrestling matches. I watch everything with our kids. The hockey games, I'm sitting in the cold arenas. I'm doing a scoreboard or whatever. I want to watch our kids compete because there's nothing better than kids competing. And, you got a lot of kids you mentioned over there. Some other kids that have some kids that have worked hard for us. You mentioned most of our guys, but another kid that's come out this year, he played as a freshman, Aiden Dvorak is a junior, who's going to be running the ball a little bit for us, hopefully. Very shifty, very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the way the kid attacks the basket in basketball. I just see him attacking, the goal line and football like that. Christian Booker, another junior that played a little bit last year. He's been stepping up at the quarterback position along with AJ, and they're battling it out. Logan Donnelly, a 3-sport athlete kid, working hard. Ethan Christensen, one of our kids that has really, really worked hard in the weight room, has put so much time in. He was voted a captain of the team. One of those kids that you just root for. He'll come up and he's every bit of 150, and he'll lay 160 pounds into you if he weighs 150. Those are kids. Ray Wood is a kid that hasn't played much for us, but he's really worked a lot of time in the weight room. So I'm hoping that he can find himself on the field. Who else am I looking at over here? Julian Beltran, another kid I mentioned that came out this year and is showing some promise. I talked about Travis Trempe, one of our just a tough
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
He's a lacrosse player. He's a wrestler. He's just an awesome kid that you love to coach. Um, Juan Navarrete is a junior kid that's a lineman that, I'm always pushing. I'm always trying to get more out of him because I just don't think he realizes how good he can be. He's one of those kids that when you tell him, if the game is 90% mental, and right now
Mm-hmm.
you don't understand that because if he just believed the stuff that we know he can do, he can push some people around. He's that type of kid. And then I'm happy to say that we have a very exciting group of freshmen coming in. We have a freshman line that right now lines up bigger than our varsity line.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot. I want to mention all their names. There's a lot of good kids that we are excited about. We got some good skill players that we are very excited about that showed some good promise in the summer. And I'm hoping the next time, when we talk about getting ready for the season, that some of these freshman kids, when we start our practices August 10th, until I see these kids in pads, I really can't say much. So, I see them in running plays in the air, it's one thing. But when I see them playing football and I see the same thing I'll see, then I'll start talking more about them. But
Right.
I don't want to put too much pressure on them, but I have a great group that I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to brag about those kids in the future.
Yeah, that's one thing you did say to me 2 weeks ago was that freshman class. You're excited about the future as well as the present, and that's
Yeah, we
something.
have a good numbers, almost high 30s with the freshmen, so we're excited about them, and we'll just see what the future holds for them.
And I've known you for years, you know that, and I told you this. When you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you get excited, and the light
Mm-hmm.
starts getting brighter and brighter and brighter as it gets closer to when you're able to have those players. And I sensed that from you that you there's something because when I talked to you 2 weeks ago, there was something I needed to know about Brick because you were getting real excited. And at this time of the year you do because the kids are sweating, they're working hard, they're doing
Yep.
everything you want them to do with the coaches. So you know, and, I'm excited for you guys. You got a lot to look forward to. New division, new teams, same tradition. Let's go. Right?
Yep.
Best
Yep.
time of the year, football.
It's exciting, man. I can't wait to get going. And like right now we call it the calm before the storm. We give the kids are off for this week, and I told them get away, have fun, do what you got to do, see everybody, and then say goodbye when August 10th comes. It's time to go to work. It's time to put our head down and buckle up, and try to go out there and prepare. Like we've worked in the summer, but we'll get to work.
Are you in the mornings
August
or at night?
We're going to be in the mornings.
How early?
We'll be like a 7 to 10:30 team, somewhere around there with meetings and everything. I was going to go 7 to 2 straight through, but I was told I can't.
Well, I don't think too many people do triples anymore, do they?
You remember that, man? I talk about that to the kids. And my first camp at Patterson was 13 days in a row of triple sessions.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I remember guys jumping out the window at night.
Oh yeah.
My roommate was going to go, and he said he could. He always said, he goes, if you didn't drive, I was gone. And I drove, and I wouldn't let him leave. And I took years off before I went back to school, so I was no way ever going to quit. But it was hard, man. We had. I think that was a great team that we were part of, man. Probably one of the best teams in William Patterson history, and some great.
They have no
players.
idea. These kids have no idea that we had those thoughts in our head when we played football too. It's easy to quit. It's
so
easy to quit. And if kids only knew that if they stayed with it, then it just goes easy. It just gets
the
easier.
joy, man. Listen, I tell the kids, like when the kids, I've had kids that quit like a week in, 2 weeks in. It's like, listen, if you don't get to the season and you don't get to the fun part of football, when we're in school is when football really gets to be. Listen, the summer is hard. It's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard. But when you get to the first day of school and you don't have to get on the practice till 1:30, till 2:30, and you got the practice at the school, and then you have a couple of hard practices a week. You got your game. Sophomores, you got two games a week. Freshmen, you have you're at all these games. You don't know how much fun it is in those years. And then when you get to really be part of the varsity, and I mean, at Brick, it's special. Our cheerleaders, what they do for our boys, for rah-rah rating, for our coaches taking the kids out for dinner, our pasta parties, our coaches' pasta parties. Our kids don't even eat home half the week. They're always eating with coaches and players, and it's just something that you get that hometown feel. They go out after the game. They take the bus home. They're talking on the
Mm-hmm.
bus. Bus rides there, like I told you, Coach. The bus rides to game or what? They're silent. You don't hear anything on our bus on the way to a game. On the way home, if we win, they can talk. If we lost, don't open your mouth. Just
Wow.
worry about what we got to do next week. But that's what it's like. And we get the bus rides home, and the kids, win or lose, they go out, they hit the diner up, they go to somebody's house, to hang out, and it's part of high school football.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not just going in a car, going home, and going back to wherever you came from. It's playing with your kids you grew up with, and Brick is one of those places that's a special place, and I'm honored that I had a chance to play there, and I have the honor that I get a chance to instill what I had from me, and that's my goal. Is what I did and my experience and my team at Brick. We just had our reunion this year of my state championship team that I played on in Brick. We had a reunion at our quarterback's house. We had a bunch of guys show up. We had our coaches show up, and we had a great time. And they're all asking about the team, all about the team, and I'm talking to them about the team. And they can see how, like I said, I get excited about. When I talk about the team, I get excited because I want to see these kids experience what I experienced. I want them to win what I want. I want to get it for the kids, and it's tough to get it, but I want them to have it. And if I'm going to try, I'm going to bust my butt to try to get them everything they can and everything they. But again, not everything that I do, it's not always going to work out right. But as long as we get these kids to be better young men, and in 10 years, if they're a better father and a better provider than they were if they didn't play football, I'm a happy guy.
It's amazing that we're talking about so many different things for a 48-minute game, right?
Yeah, it's much more than that, man. You know that.
We know that. We know that. But
Yeah.
the amount of stuff you do for a 48-minute game, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And it's different. It's different than any other sport. I mean, that's the thing where so many kids quit because they like the instant gratification of just going play in a basketball game, going to play a baseball game,
go make a layup,
going to play a pickup game of this. Football is a different animal. And I tell the kids, all my kids, I said, if anybody wants to go play in college, and coaches, nobody better at getting their kids in college than you. There's a place for everybody to go. Anybody can go to college and play football. There's a place for everybody. And if you want to do it, you can go play somewhere. But if it's not out of your system, try to go play and get it out of your system because you cannot, you can't emulate that experience of playing competitive tackle football games anywhere else. You can play pickup games, you can play this league, but college football, high school football, there's nothing like it. It teaches you so many things. Yeah. You're a better person for playing it. And, I'm just fortunate enough to be in a position I am to coach these kids. And, it's hard. Like you said, you got to put in 5 days of preparation for one game. 5 days of preparation. And people don't understand that. But then when we start teaching them every technique they got to do, and just them getting those techniques right, understanding how can a 5'9", 200-pound little runt take on a 6'5", 300-pound kid? Well, this is how we're going to show you to do it. Well, you're not going to take him, where he's strong. You're going to take him where he's weak.
Think of it.
We have to. That's what we got to do. And that's how we coach our kids.
The greatest thing in the world is motivating kids because we're doing all this, and you segment it. That kid is only going to play maybe 20 plays or 22 plays, but you need all these pieces to buy in to the overall plan. It's a family. And in a family, we all have roles to make our family functional and have fun and have great memories. And that's what you're doing with football.
That's I mean, I heard a coach talk about it. One thing that's great about football is there's 88 positions, 88 opportunities for somebody to get on the field. Yeah. With every special team and every offensive defensive position, there's 88 chances for you to get on the field. So the more kids you get to play, the more kids that have stake in the game, the better your program is. And that's what we're going to try to do with our kids, get more kids in the game, get the kids to have a stake in it. So they go in here, and this might be everything for this kid on this play. So you want him, you want that kid in there for that. Rather than having one kid maybe go in there and it's where he hopes he was resting. I don't want that kid in there for that time. I want the kid in there that's going to be thrown at the mouth to get a chance to run through the wedge or something like that. So we have those kids at Brick, and I'm fortunate enough to say that. We have Brick kids, and the Brick kids, they do stuff a little different. They're a little, sometimes they're a little crazy, but you know what? You got to take it, and you got to take what comes with that.
And if anybody can call a kid a Brick kid, it's you because you've been there, done it.
I'm fortunate enough, man. Fortunate.
Good for you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure
Yep.
talking brick football. Myself or Coach or Scott Stump will be on your sidelines for games. We're not going to do the rolls before the thing. We'll let you guys do that.
You got it.
But have some fun, compete, and listen. Everybody's undefeated right now, so everybody's pumped up. Talking to every head coach, nobody has one loss yet. It's awesome.
Yeah, true.
So have fun. I'll see you soon, and keep doing what you're doing.
You got it, Rob. You too, man. Keep working, man. We appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, here now we have a couple of brick football players who are outstanding football players, but like Coach Z said, more importantly, you're better off the field. You're good role models, good leaders, and that's a good makeup for a good football team. So here's why I brought you in here. I need you to tell me 5 answers to 5 questions I got, and then I'm good with you. I got everything out of Coach Z. I've watched you guys practice. I have a good feel of brick football. I really do. But these 5 questions, I have it perfect after these 5 questions. Let me introduce you first, and let's get right into it. All right? Just give a big wave when I call your name. Hopefully, I don't butcher anybody's names. It took me 3 months to remember my wife's name. Her name's Sue. So I'm not a very smart guy. I don't pretend to be. I don't think you're going to dispute that after you talk to me. So let's do it. To all the way to the top. I'm partially joking. To the top, we have senior offensive guard, inside linebacker, Colin Wilson. Colin, did I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
Good. I'm pretty good. Right in the middle, we have a junior tight end, one of the best around, and defensive end, Tyson Lopez. Tice, good?
Senior.
You're a senior? My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're good.
All right. And make one mistake every year. All right. That's my only one. To the top right, we have outstanding offensive tackle, D tackle, senior Mike Parmigiano. I said it right, didn't I? God, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go. Good. And last but not least, the outstanding quarterback and safety, we have AJ Grigel. Did I say that right? God, we should just end it right here. That was good. Well, guys, thanks for coming on the show. I really think this is great that you're coming on here to give me my 5 answers to my 5 questions. Let's just get right to it. All right, 7 minutes, if that. Let's go number 1 right now. The first thing I need to know about Brick is who's the funniest dude in the team? I need to know this. I need to know who's the funniest football player on Brick. Now, Mike over there, you got that smile on your face. Is there something I don't know? And don't tell me it's Coach Zdanowicz because he's not that funny. He really isn't. Right? Who's the funniest dude on the football team? Let's hear it.
I'd have to say this year we have a newcomer, Abdulwajid Rahimi.
I heard about him. He is funny, huh? The center?
He has a personality like no one you've ever seen before. It's
really,
yeah.
He's comical.
Yes.
I heard he never played football before, but he's pretty good, right?
Yeah. He's doing really good, working really hard, but
he is, right?
Yeah.
AJ, does he make you laugh in between snaps?
Yeah, he's definitely real. Definitely a funny guy.
Well, that's cool. Mr. Wilson, are you agreeing with him, or is there somebody else out there who's funny?
No, absolutely Waj. By far the funniest guy on the team.
Who is?
Waj, that's what we call him.
Oh, that's Waj? That's his name?
Yeah.
All right, so he wins the comedian on the team. I'm duly noted. I marked that down. 2, who's the leader that echoes out the messages to everybody in the football program? When Coach Z tells you guys he needs something done, who reminds everybody with maybe group messages or Snapchat? I don't know what that is, but Snapchat. Who does that? Who echoes out the message from the coach to the players? AJ, who is it?
I would say it's definitely us 4, and we don't try to. It seems like we'll echo out our own things. Like usually, I'll echo out a message after a scrimmage or after a 7-on-7. Tyson will tend to message out like inspirational stuff. Parm definitely is a huge reminder about something. Like say Coach Z said something in the huddle, he'll like echo it into the group me after practice. And then Colin will just be like, "Hey, everyone, remember get there like 15 minutes early."
So you all have different aspects that you do it on, right? Good.
Yeah.
So who's the motivation guy? Tyson?
Yeah.
You're the motivation guy?
Yeah, like
maybe after a game, scrimmage, something like that, I'll just say good job. Like you got to keep working,
Yeah.
things like that. Just like make sure everyone's continue working.
Now, what do you guys use? Group message, or what's it called?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
use
group me.
Now, when you message something, does everybody get notification, or it's kind of like, oh, it is?
Yeah, it's everybody on the team.
So if you go back and forth with somebody, everybody gets the beep, 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 beep. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can
So
you?
whether it's a freshman asking for an extra mouthpiece or one of us asking when we're getting to practice, everyone is getting the message.
So do you have a rule after this time? Don't message. Let's say 12:30 at night.
Well, sometimes we might just say like, all right, stop spamming the group chat. Like, stop.
So you guys do have issue when you have a lot of people in one group.
Yeah.
It could be, just clicking a thumbs up, people get notified, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Good. I'm learning. I'm old, man. I don't know how it is. Because I know when I message Coach Z, he never responds to me. I gotta put him on a group. I think he knows that I message him too. He pretends he never sees it, but that's fine. That's another episode with that. Number 3, back to normal. We do not wear this no more, guys. No more mask, no more pods, no more temperature. You guys are back to normal. How is it this off season in Coach Z's weight room when it was back to normal? Was it pretty good, Colin?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, definitely.
I know he cranks the music and gets it going in that weight room. It's good to not have to social distance, right? Mike?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's so much better than like the years before. Like we had to go with different groups in the weight room.
Oh, terrible.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Finally being able to get back with like the team, like the whole team lifting again. Definitely a lot better.
Oh, it's terrible when the head coaches know your average temperature checks for your offensive linemen, your skill kids, right? It's terrible.
Yeah.
My last year was the heat of the COVID. I could give you all these numbers for temperature checks. It was terrible. You kind of forget we're coaching football too, but I felt like a doctor or a nurse, whatever way you want to look at it. But that's that. All right, cool. Number 4, expectations. I know where the expectations are with Coach Z because we talked, but I want to know from you guys in your locker room. He's not around. What are you guys thinking about this year with your team? AJ.
Yeah, so my main expectations this year is like we struggled the past 2 years, and I really want to rebound off that with our core leadership group and then all of our young talent we have coming in.
You do. You definitely do.
A lot of young talent that some of our core returning starters really got to like take under our wing and just go full speed at this season, and they're going to pick it up fast. But I think
you do have talented young guys with your leadership right here. It could be a good mix. It really could. Would you agree, Colin?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, us 4, we've been like the 4 main guys this whole summer.
Right.
So everybody's kind of looking up to us, but yeah, we're really starting to get to people.
Good. Michael, let's hear it. What are those linemen thinking right now? What are those linemen thinking?
We're thinking we're really good. The linemen have been doing a really good job picking stuff up. We're looking good. I mean, a lot of the line left last year, but I've been helping them through it a lot. A lot of the newer kids, like if they need help with stuff, helping what to do.
Right.
And a lot of kids have been picking it up recently, and we've been looking pretty good.
Yeah, Tyson, I'm going to give you 1 second, but I want to just add about Mike. You did the strongman competition with a bunch of schools every Thursday, I think it was. One of the coaches from another team, I won't say who, said that your linemen were very impressive, competing, very impressive, and he's very good too. His team, but you did something to impress him. You thought that you guys were a team, a unit. You were excited. You were having fun, and you compete. It says a lot about you guys. Tyson, what do you think? What are the expectations? What's going on now? You're with the linemen, and then you come with the receivers during drills.
Yeah.
Are we all speaking the same thing?
Yeah. Basically, what everyone said, like just picking up some of the young kids or some of the kids who have been played before, like the kid Abdul, like he's been picking up really well.
Right.
He's like one of the best linemen we have now. So
yeah,
it's really like expectations are really high for the season.
Does a kid like Abdul understand what tradition is at Brick? I know what it is. Warren Wolf, the history of Brick Township. He does know it. Good.
I mean, honestly, it's taken him a little bit. Some stuff, he's still a little like.
Yeah.
I help him through it a lot because I was like really good friends with like Waj since like 6th grade, I'd say. So I mean, yeah, I've been helping him with a lot of stuff, but he's been cleaning it up. And
do you guys do the I don't know what the twist or the tumble salts
Yeah,
before
dragon roll. Yeah,
what do you call it?
dragon roll.
Dragon rolls. You guys do that? Everybody has to do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was just kickoff team. No?
Well, it's going on to
Well,
kick
yeah.
off or kick return, but every time.
Yeah. Like everyone going onto the field at that time.
Yeah. No, I mean, Warren Wolf, a guy who I played against, you would see him on the other side. Everybody would be doing these rolls. It kind of like freaked everybody out. It was like an intimidating thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Last thing, guys. Now, tell me why. Why is it so special to be playing at Brick Township under Coach Zdanowicz? We'll start with you, Mike. Why is it so great to be under Coach Zadanowicz at Brick Township?
In his it's definitely had a lot of success, Brick. Like, we've normally been a really dominant school,
Yep.
top school. A lot of teams he's been involved with have gone really far and
Yeah.
been really good. So I mean, it's good to know we have someone who knows what it's like to win and someone who I think can take us there.
Right. Tyson?
Yeah, especially like back to like 2018. Like I was an 8th grader looking at us playing like state championship game against Long Branch, I think it was.
Yeah.
And just seeing like us just winning all the time. Like in our locker room, we have all the like team pictures and what their records were. Just seeing like undefeated teams,
Mhm.
championships, is like really good to play for a team like that.
Colin?
Well, I've been playing football for Brick since I was like 5, me and AJ. So really all my life, I've just been looking up to the high schoolers, seeing them win and everything. And, that's really gotten to me. And it's kind of why I stayed in Brick and played here.
It's nice when you guys are looking forward to, filling the shoes of the guys in the past. It really is. AJ, end it right here. Tell me, why is it special to play for Coach Z?
Especially for all of us. A lot of us are born and raised in Brick. We're surrounded by the Kelly Green. You bump into someone at Walgreens, and next thing you know, your parents went to high school together. And when you have a tradition in a football program, starting all the way back from Wolf to Z to our freshman coach Marino, like you're almost bred into the tradition, and there's no getting around it. So like you said, like these kids, are they picking up on the tradition? It's like you have no choice when you're playing Brick football. It's gonna get to you because it's all around us, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I look at Brick as a whole, and I just Brick kid, and all these people on the team are just Brick kids at heart, at everything. So playing Brick football is definitely something to like. You got to step up to the table, but I guarantee you, all of us, we wouldn't want it any other way.
You guys were awesome. I know everything about you guys now. My 5 questions, I write notes when you're doing it. I know who the funny dude is right now. When I go to Brick game, I know there's a lot of giggles. I'm looking at my boy Parm over there, and he's going to give it away because we know that center is sneaking some jokes. I got it. Scout report on Brick. The guy's a funny dude that's snapping a ball. So, but let me tell you something about Brick. You're right. Brick's a community that's proud, hardworking guys that love to support each other as new groups of guys take leadership with the football program. Coach Zdanowicz played for Coach Wolf, and Coach Wolf was an icon. And I love the fact that Coach Zdanowicz is keeping that tradition going. And there's nothing wrong with tradition, guys. I think that's what's wrong in society now. We don't have traditional stuff anymore. Tradition's something you want to look up to, and you want to kind of, achieve the same stuff, the standards. And Brick's always got that reputation. And from what I'm hearing about you guys, especially you 4, you're definitely got a good thing going this year. You do. All right. This will be up. This will be up tomorrow. Make sure that we're going to see how good you are with your messages to everybody. Show this link to that community of Brick. Let's see how many views you get. Are you going to be on the top 20 view count for the high school football preview? I think you will. Because one thing about Coach Z, he's very prideful. He's very prideful. I know how to wind him up, and I'll tell him, hey, let's see how the town responds to you. And he's going to make sure everybody watches it. You go to McDonald's and say, ma'am, click that right now. Click that YouTube link right now. That goes a Big Mac, and you get a subscribe to my football report. All right, guys, a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Good luck this week in your scrimmages. Who do you got this week?
Wednesday, quad scrimmage.
Who?
Quad scrimmage.
Who against who?
Monroe.
Smith and Jackson Liberty.
And so who's the fourth team? Monroe?
Like us. Yeah.
Monroe,
Monmouth
you.
Regional.
Us, Monroe, Monmouth, and Jackson.
Oh, Monmouth? Okay. Yeah, I can't go Wednesday. I'll make. When's your next one after that?
Saturday.
So you go Wednesday,
Against-
Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah, it's against Lenape.
Lenape or Lenape? What is it?
Oh, it's Leonard.
I'd say Lenape.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again. You guys work hard. Football season's right around the corner. All right.
Yep.
And we'll be on your sidelines. All right. I'm signing off. Go Brick.
All right.
Thanks, guys.